Hey, world, what's going on? Hey, it's still me, man. I'm still Coach Cam. That's what people have grown to call me over the years. I'm not going to tell you my government name because you'll probably just joke me and laugh at me like everybody else did. So that's from my mama to call me, from my family to call me. But I'm Coach Cam, and I appreciate you tuning in. This is episode 48 of the Real Resilience Talk podcast. The song in the back is Second Winds by the great Mouffff Rex. A great artist, y'all. Look him up, man. Mouffff Rex. I'll spell his name for y'all real quick. Monchichirex. Good old Uncle Rex right there, man. I appreciate you, man, for letting us use that. I'm talking about us, letting me use that track for the intro song for this. And it's called Second Winds. I mean, it's just, we're here to talk about resilience, right? What is it? How do we get it? How do we maintain it? I'm doing something different this time. I'm actually filming this episode so I can use it for some clips and things like that later on. Try to get some, get this word out there more. I told y'all before, and I'll say it again, my friends, this show will never be monetized. We'll never do that on this show. That's why there's no ads. If there is, it's not to my choosing. I'm not doing that. We're here to talk about resilience, and I've said it before, but essentially 3 words: just keep moving on. Keep moving on, right? How can we go through things but not become significantly impaired to the point of our own detriment, right? How can we maintain and sustain resilience to be able to endure, this crazy thing called life sometimes, right? So I want to be able to provide tangible tools on here, have some real honest conversations, maybe say some bad words here and there, or what society says is bad words. I don't know. I think it's all about how you use something. I know some church folks that don't say a freaking cuss word at all, but they will make you want to go jump off a bridge right now just by scolding you with something they say. So I don't want to get into all of that, but this is First Amendment. I defend it. I've defended it, and many other people have, so I'm going to expend it and use it, right? The way I look at it is, if a lot of people can go on TikTok and be in certain attire and in certain professions and make videos and not get canceled, well, I'm going to make a podcast about resilience and about getting after these subjects of hoping to not only prevent suicide, but as Dr. Craig Bryant said, to help people to live a more fulfilling life. So try to provide some tangible tools. No matter what I do in my day life, my daytime job, this has nothing to do with that. This is totally separate. This is just me and my views and my opinions of things. So this is no reflection of or an endorsement from any of those organizations or for any of those organizations outright. So it's just me using my First Amendment to try to talk about this thing called resilience, right? And y'all have heard me say it before. It's a horrible impression, but I love Stallone. I always have. But it ain't about you hit. It's about you can get it and keep moving forward, right? So that's what it is. And how can we do that? How can we take the hits in life and keep moving forward? I want to share one quote with you that's really helped me in a lot of times, because I always ask people, I say, who wants to be happy? Who wants to be successful? And 9 times out of 10, a room full of people will raise their hands and say, everybody wants to be happy. Everybody wants to be successful, right? So Dr. Viktor Frankl, I've spoken about him. A mentor of mine, Coach Kevin O'Hara. Look him up from Habits 365 Unplugged. Great man. Habits V2. Just a good man. Has helped me a lot in life. Helped me in my sobriety and being alcohol free and living this kind of life now, and just so many other things, man. Great dude. I love you, Kev. I really do, man. Thank you for all you've done for me. And I'll provide links in the show notes to what Kevin does if you want to follow him as well. He's on YouTube. A lot of his stuff is free, but there's some services you can get to it. But again, no ads, just saying stuff that works. So he talks about Dr. Viktor Frankl as well as I do, and a book called A Man's Search for Meaning. And there's also a newer book that came out called Say Yes to Life in Spite of Everything. So in spite of all the things going on, you say yes to life. But before I go on and keep going on, great man, great perspective. But this is what Dr. Viktor Frankl said. He said, for success like happiness cannot be pursued. It must ensue, and it only does so as the unintended side effect of one's personal dedication to a cause greater than oneself, or as the byproduct of one's surrender to a person other than oneself. Happiness must happen. And the same holds for success. You have to let it happen by not caring about it. Now, That doesn't mean we don't care about it, like we never want it to happen or anything like that, but it can't be the thing that we're striving for. Some people say, I want to be rich, I want to be famous. Like, what does that mean? How? What is the purpose? What is the cause? What is the delivery, right? What I take from that, I just share with y'all, man, is, and I want to start the show off with this, is go external. Go external. To a cause greater than oneself, or to a person other than oneself, right? There is something beautiful about service, right? There really is. And I've been blessed to be able to have the privilege to serve my nation for many years. And so many others have too. And is it perfect work? Is it perfect every day? No, but it's a job that's worth it. And whether you've served as a police officer or a firefighter or a youth sports coach, or you've been a teacher, or you are a Marine or a Navy SEAL or a soldier or an airman or a guardian or a Coast Guardman, or I'll go on a list, right? I don't want to leave anybody out, but you know what I'm saying? All those in service. I'm telling y'all, we need people that want to serve in our world today. Serve something bigger than themselves. And that is where you can find happiness and success. Now, people have had bad experiences. I get that. I have too, in some cases. It hasn't all been peaches and cream, but really when we think about it, nothing really is. Like, nothing really ever is perfect, right? But there's something beautiful about dedicating yourself to a cause greater than yourself. You know, the man I just talked about, Kevin, he's not a service member or anything like that. He's just a gentleman that serves the cause and purpose of helping others, right? So it doesn't have to be in the same exact forms, right? That's the beauty about what we try to share on this show. Anybody that's on here is not like the way. Hey, listen to Cam. Here's the way. No, here's a way. Here's our way. And I mean, I'm never bold enough. And I actually heard Kev say this this morning when I was listening to a show he did. He talking about like, you know, we don't know what we don't know, basically. And the more you know you don't know. So the extent of my ignorance, it humbles me every day, y'all. So I never want to come off like I'm up here trying to be like, hey, do exactly what I say, be exactly. No, I want you to be better than me. I want you to live your life as best as you can for your people, for those around you, to be the best possible version of you that you can be. Not me, because it's never really about you versus me. It's not. It's not me versus you. It's not me versus that person or that person or that person. It's me versus me. And it's you versus you all the time. So we have to own our shit. We got to own up to it. And we got to try to make things as best we can with what we have. But there's a lot of freedom in focusing on what you can control. You know, right now it's an election season, and there's a lot of things up in the air. And I mean, there's a lot of just, you know, stress and stuff like that. But there's really never no stress in life, right? It's just, here's what I'm getting at, you know, and I'll quote unquote Aziz Ansari because I love comedy so much. But he once said, you know, he asked the crowd, he said, man, hey, the shit's really hit the fan, huh? Everybody's like, yeah. And he's like, well, you know, if you look at American history and you look at the history of the world, there's never really been a shitless fan. There's no such thing, right? There's always been some shit up on the fan. It's always been about to all fall apart, right? I don't say that so we can become misinformed or uninformed or live under a rock or on the side of a hill. If that's what you want to do, by all means, free will, you can do that. But what I'm saying is, how much do you really gain out of watching the news 24 hours a day? Ask yourself that. How much do you gain yelling at the television because you agree with this or with that or whatever this or that thing is? Look, I'm a registered voter. I'm a vote. That's what I'm going to do. There's a lot of people who have died for my privilege and right to be able to do so in the United States of America, and I support and defend that Constitution fully and totally. But outside casting a vote, what am I to do, right? And I say that because I think a lot of people focus so much on such things as that. It's not only that, right? It could be sports. It could be tons of things, tons of different things. But we're focusing on things that we cannot control, ladies and gentlemen, right? And it's driving us crazy. And meanwhile, we got bad breath. We ain't flossed. We still got some cookout in the back of our teeth from like 3 barbecues or cookouts ago. You feel what I'm saying? And I hope you just laughed about that because it's true. It's funny. It's real, right? Or like, you know, you over there picking a scab that you're going to get an infection from. Or you over there literally, you know, not helping your child with their homework, or not knowing where your kid is right now, or mentoring the young people in your neighborhood, or your spouse, or your significant other, or trying to improve yourself. while you're just wasting precious time being bitter and being angry about some stuff that you can't even control, right? Cast your vote. Maybe, for those who are in service, there's certain things you cannot do. There's certain things you can do, but like you contribute to a campaign, you can put a little sticker on your car, you can do certain things, you can speak about your opinion while not in uniform and things like that. But like for the majority of us, man, I just got to go back to why I even started this podcast and why I've, done a lot of the things I've done in my life. And it's Maya Angelou, rest her soul, which, by the way, was not a popular person in her time. She was not a very popular person in her time. She was not liked by all, not even liked by all the people that looked like her, right? But one thing she said, and I got it right over here, man, is if you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude. You know what I'm saying? If you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude. I'm going to say it again. If you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude, or please shut up, right? And again, we got freedom of speech. You can say whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. But the level of effort and energy we put into things that we just can't control, y'all. Like if we focus on what we can control, oh man, and the things we can influence, there's enough to go around to keep yourself busy. I promise you, right? But I heard recently too, somebody said that the authority, the power goes to the place you point the finger at, right? Like, we got to point it back at ourselves. We got to own our own stuff. And sometimes we need help, and that's fine, man. That's fine. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I don't think in the spirit of suicide prevention, in the spirit of stopping people from harmful behaviors or stopping people from hurting themselves or hurting others, I don't think we're doing ourselves any favor by getting hot and bothered and getting flustered over things we can't control. Like, it's just a waste of energy. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to sway anybody in any direction. I hope everybody that has the rights will go out and let their vote be heard and cast their ballot and do what they want to do with what they want to do with it. But like I say, man, for me personally, outside of voting, I don't know what I can do about it, but I'm not losing my mind on it. Maybe I've spent too much time talking about it right now. Somebody just said that in their car too. They was like, this dude over here talking all this shit, but he just talked about this shit for 5 minutes. I did, because I think we waste a lot of time on things we can't control. We gotta, like Epictetus said, chief task in life is discerning and distinguishing that which we can control to that which we cannot control, and then focusing on what we can control, like with everything we got as best we can, right? And I say as best we can because I talk about Dr. King and the street sweeper, right? I got this little broom. I got a broom tatted on my arm right here, right? Broom. Some people see it and they go, "Is that a Thor hammer?" And I'm like, no, that's not a Thor hammer, man. It's a broom, dog. That's a broom. And I have that broom right there for Dr. King, in tribute to him and in gratitude to him, to unselfishness. Talk about somebody dedicating themselves to a cause greater than themselves. And trust me, he was definitely not liked by a lot of people, right? And also, people that look like him didn't like him, right? So it's not like, a lot of these things, these leaders, these key figures in history, they weren't so popular at the time, right? They weren't. To the point where obviously people have tried to, either have killed some of these people I've named off or wanted to, right? Hope nobody wants to kill me. But anyway, the reason why I got that there, and it goes to what I was saying about doing your best. Dr. King, street sweeper, right? Dr. King, street sweeper. And I recently heard a speech that Nick Saban gave this same talk to his team. And I've been saying this thing for years. So it was just like, wow, that's so cool that, like, I don't even want to say great minds think alike. I just want to say that I was on the same wave like this Nick Saban for a little bit. But love him or hate him, the man is a professional and gets things done and makes people better. But anyway, before I digress, talking about Nick Saban, from Dr. King, if it falls your lot to be a street sweeper, sweep streets like Michelangelo painted pictures. Sweep streets like Beethoven composed music. Sweep streets like Shakespeare wrote poetry. Sweep streets so well that all the hosts of heaven and earth will have to pause and say, here lived a great street sweeper. If you can't be a pine on the top of the hill, be a shrub in the valley. But be the best little shrub on the side of the hill. For it isn't by size that you win or you fail. Be the best of whatever you are. And I love that. And I keep that. This is literally, I keep this everywhere I go. To kind of keep me in the know. And I keep that broom right there to remind myself that, look, man, just do the best you can at what you can control. And like he said right there, if it works out to where you're a street sweeper, well, you better sweep streets like Shakespeare wrote poetry, like Beethoven composed music, right? And And that's just trying to be the best that we can, right? I mean, what else we gonna do, y'all? We gonna sit here? Have you tried it? I have. I've tried doing the negative thing. I've tried doing the negative, criticize everything, be nihilistic, nothing matters, this shit sucks, it's this person's fault, it's that person's. I mean, I have done that before, man, and all I did was waste my fucking time. Waste my time, and I neglected things that I could have taken care of, and I could have been better at, right? And that's time lost. And you know what, some of those things, we're having relationships with people that are no longer here anymore, to be honest with you, right? Times when I was focused on shit I couldn't control and just wasting my time, man. That's time I could have spent with people that I love and I loved, but I can't see anymore in this planet because they're dead. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we got to be careful with the things that we give our time to. You know, it reminds me of, I got it on my shirt. I got the Bruce Lee, right? This isn't like a quote. This isn't a quote day, I promise, but I'm just trying to share some stuff because there's tangible wisdom throughout the years shared by people. And if we don't take heed to it, man, that's just stupid. We're like, I mean, what did General Mattis say? The Honorable Mr. Mattis, like we're functionally illiterate. Like we're choosing to be illiterate, like choosing to be ignorant. And that's just not right, you know? So we got to try to learn from things, or we'll make the same mistakes, right? We will. And that's just how, but we have to grow, we have to adapt, we have to evolve, right? And if we don't evolve, we devolve, right? If we don't continue to progress, we will regress. That's just the way it is. We're like plants. But on the subject of time, right? Bruce Lee, y'all know I love him. I quote him often. I mean, just one of the biggest motivators in my life. And it's not just the martial arts. That Jeet Kune Do is amazing and everything he did on that front. But if you read his poetry, if you read his philosophy stuff, if you read his art, man, such a deep man, such a, wow. And only lived to be, 32 years old, I think, right? So, but he said this, he said, if you love life, I hope most of us do. If we don't, we need to change some stuff up and try to find a way to love the life we live, right? But he said, if you love life, don't waste time, for time is what life is made up of, right? Now, I just shared like at least 4 quotes so far with the Dr. Maya Angelou. If you don't like something, change it, change your attitude. I opened up with Dr. Viktor Frankl about, for success like happiness cannot be pursued, it must ensue. And only does so is your unselfish dedication to a cause or to other people, right? I told you about Dr. King, doing your best. And then right there, Bruce Lee, time. Time is all we have, y'all. It's the most precious thing. I got a really good friend of mine, man. He's been through this guy's been through a lot. And he's still pushing. He's still here. He's still not giving up. He's still pushing, right? And he's not a perfect person, nor am I, nor is anybody who's got 2 ears just listening to this show right now. Nobody's perfect on this planet. But my man, he's been through a lot, man. And he's been hurt a lot. And he's refused to give up. And he's a good friend. And he's always been a great friend to me. And there was times in my life when this dude was like really all I had. Yeah, he'd give me rides places, he'd take me to work, he'd be there for me, and we would listen to a lot of Linkin Park together, and yeah, I just love him a whole lot, man, I really do. And recently he sent me something that rocked my world, man, and it was the metaphor, analogy, metaphor. I don't know which distinguishes which. I'm just going to say it was an analogy and a metaphor. How about that? Somebody's listening right now like, this dude's stupid. Yeah, it's cool. I told you I had a GD. It's cool. But anyway, so in this video, and I'll put it in the show notes as well, I'll call it currency, right? I'll call it currency. The narrator, the voice, essentially says that what if you were given a certain amount of money and you had to spend it or it was gone, but you had to spend it on, day-to-day necessities like, breathing and eating and like walking and stuff like that. Like, whole point being is like, how much of that money, if you could only spend this amount, and you don't know when your time, I'm giving it away now, shit. You don't know when you can't spend it anymore, but you got to spend it, right? And the whole metaphor, the whole analogy there is time. Right, and he says, like, if it was money, would we spend our money on bitterness? Would we spend our money on hate, on discontent? How much of our money would be spent on anger, right? And then how much money would we spend on love or good relationships or good experiences? You know what I'm saying? And he goes down a host of examples, but my friend sent that to me, man. It was just, it said it all to what I just said about Bruce Lee, right? Like, because I've been guilty of it, where I've wasted my time, and I still have, even recently. So none of this stuff I say up here, y'all, do I have mastered by any means. Hell no. I'm still trying to figure it out, but I am humble enough to say I'm still trying to figure it out, right? And there's days, man, I fall short, right? But I've wasted a lot of time. I have. And I don't want to waste any more, because if you love life, don't waste time, for time is what life is made up of. And that good friend of mine sent me that, man, and I got a lot of love for him. And I needed it when he had sent it to me, because I was kind of regressing. And this was recently. So I've been doing this show for, some time now. And y'all have heard me. And, of course, I don't get on here when I'm totally feeling like shit. Be like, hey, y'all, I just want to tell y'all I feel like shit, But lately I've been feeling like shit, man. I ain't been doing too good, right? But I know to pause and to assess and to let things flow, right? And still try to be the best that I can be in the process. But I have not been on my best game lately. And I've sought help. I've been seeking help for years, but I went ahead and went in for a little tune-up. And I want to say thank you to all taxpayers who ensured that I have some medical coverage so I could do such things. And I'm getting there. I'm getting there. But the thing about me and a lot of others is that we could regress if we don't continue to progress, right? And that doesn't mean avoidance. So somebody's going to hear that and go, oh, you're just neglecting the situation. No. I'm trying to work out the situation, but I'm trying to be the best I can in the process and not be drugged down by the situation. Because to me, there's a thin line between reflection and dwelling. And there's a thin line between pause, reflect, take a knee, and then stew, and then ferment over the negative things. I acknowledge it. I say, hey, there you are, depression. There you are, anxiety. There you are, anger. I see you over there. I acknowledge you, okay, but just like a storm, kind of. But man, it feels like sometimes I live in Seattle, right, or London or something, and that's only because I've heard that it rains a lot there. So I love those places. I'd love to go to Seattle. I love fucking grunge, and I like the Seahawks too. They're cool, right? Cam Chancellor, love them, man. I'm not a Seahawks fan, but I'm saying I would go. You know what I mean? I'm just saying Supersonics are cool too, and same goes with London. They're cool too. So no diss there, but I'm saying as far as the weather, right? But the storms, they come, they go, and I acknowledge it, and I go up, there it is, and just allow it to pass, right? But sometimes, man, things can get the best of us, dude. It's just what it is. So I encourage everyone out there, like, we don't know how much time we have. And to the video that my friend sent me, what are we going to spend our time on? What are we going to spend our money on, right? We're going to spend it on getting fucked up, getting drunk, having fake experiences, maybe doing something that we'll regret, right? I know a lot of people who have hurt themselves. I mean, shit, I almost took my own life being drunk. A few times. And it felt like a really good idea at the time. And then the next day, when you have like anxiety, like hangover anxiety, you ever had that? Or the next day you feel guilty, like you did something wrong. You didn't even do nothing wrong, but you feel wrong, right? I'm not a prohibitionist. People have heard me say this many times before. That shit led to NASCAR and to gangster movies. I am not saying we need to start prohibition again. Not by any means. What I am saying, though, is you need healthy outlets. You need to have constructive things to put your time into. What those may be for you, I don't know. But I would say keep an open mind and try new shit out. Try new shit out, man. 16personalities.com. People will say it's pseudoscience. It's based off the Myers-Briggs MGBTI type indicator, where the mother and the daughter are based off Carl Jung stuff. They put it together to kind of place people in the right jobs and stuff like that. You can look it up, but 16personalities.com is very user-friendly and it's free, and I've used it. And I didn't take it till my 30s, right? And the joke I always tell people is that when I finally took it and I found out what personality type I was, for years my wife thought I was really stupid. And then after we took the personality type test, she still thinks I'm really fucking stupid. But she understands me more, right? She understands that we're different, Maybe it's not that I'm just stupid. Maybe it's that I'm actually different from her. And fundamentally, we just see things differently. We perceive things differently. We receive things differently. Like, Dr. Craig Chapman, the 5 love languages. I know it's Chapman. I know that. You can look that up too. But everybody's different, right? And that's okay, man. That's what makes us great in this world, man. I mean, goodness gracious. Man, I would not want to have control over everybody, because that means everyone would have control over me. And I would also not want us all to be the same. That is boring. That is stupid. That is just not it. Like, we don't, no, it's good that we're different. It's just, with that comes some sharp edges sometimes. We buff into each other, and things don't always work out with humans, even humans that love each other. You know what I'm saying? We don't always get along, right? So anyway, long story short, I took it in my 30s, and I got to realize, okay, yeah, this isn't just me being crazy. This is just how I am in some ways. And I know somebody's out there like, it's still a pseudoscience, it's stupid. I got it. But it's pretty fucking accurate. I don't think it's ever going to be 100% accurate to anybody, because we're as unique as our fingerprints, right? But I also agree that we're more alike than unalike as human beings. I do believe in that, right? And some of us are just more alike than each other than others. And that's okay, right? That makes us better. I'm all about diversity. It's great. It'd be boring if we weren't. And I embrace it, and I love it, and I want it. However, it doesn't always work out good, because we disagree and we bump heads, right? So anyways, when I took it, I realized certain ways I am. It's just how I am, and that's okay. It's not immoral to be certain ways, or to think of certain things, or to, be engaged or more likely to engage in certain activities. But it allowed me to get to understand me more. And a leadership principle, it's pretty much a leadership principle for everybody, but know yourself, seek self-improvement. Knowing yourself, man, that takes a lifetime. That takes so long. I'm still trying to get to know myself, right? I think I know myself a little bit better than I did before, but I'm still trying to figure that out. So that's 16personalities.com. You can go there, find out what type you are. I found out what type I was. If you want to be able to manipulate me or whatever, I'm an ENFP, right? I'm a campaigner. That's my personality type. And when I got to see that, I got to realize other people that I'm like, or other people that share the same personality type, and then interests I'm drawn to. Like, I've always been drawn to the arts. I've always loved it. But I'm be honest with you, stereotypically, I thought it was kind of soft, right? I did. But I was like this big bad, whatever I am on my day job, thinking I am, or whatever. And I'm not going to do no art. Like, I'll get drunk and freestyle or something like that, but I'm not doing no art, bro. You know what I mean? I ain't soft. That was my thought then, right? Ignorant. It was stupid. I didn't know, right? But I realized real quick and in a hurry, like, I am very much drawn to those things. And why not embrace them? Why? Why not embrace things that you may be drawn to, right? But then also, it tells you certain types of people that you are like that are the same type. So like, 2 of them that always jump off the map to me was Robin Williams and Will Smith. 2 people I really admire. Obviously not perfect people, right? And if I can real quick, just drop another quote. Everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. So be kind, always. Robin Williams said that, right? Robin Williams, who dealt with a lot of stuff. And obviously we know how he passed away, but there's irony there. There really is. But Will Smith as well, man. I've talked about him a lot on this show before. And we can all judge, and we can all hate, and we can all have an opinion about what a horrible person he was for slapping Chris Rock. Okay. All right. I'm glad my most vulnerable, mistakenly moments are not on national television. So after we're done gossiping about it, let's go pray for the person, because I'm sure they want to be perfect just like us. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm kind of at right now. After you're done gossiping about me, can you please go pray for me, because I'm trying to be perfect just like you. Okay? All right. So let's be careful about how we cast stones. Right? Everyone's fighting a battle you know nothing about. So anyway, I'm digressing as usual. Right? That's literally like a call sign for me. I digress, but. People I was like, activities I was more inclined to enjoy, professions that I'm drawn to, right? So all of that helped me lead me to where I'm talking to you today, because had I not done that, I would have not had the confidence or the curiosity to actually pursue stand-up comedy and start it. I love you, Tim Lulis, helping me out when I first started out in this, and I'm nowhere really far right now, but I'm getting there. Miss Angie Robinson, I love you. Miss Angie, and a few other comedy mentors of mine over the years, right? Bobby Oliver, man, The Tao of Comedy. Y'all want to know about comedy book? Man, Taoism in general, right? Alan Watts and stuff like that, but Bobby Oliver, man, she helped me out so much. And one of the things she has in her book is she says, tell it over and over again till it no longer owns you. So that's part of what I'm doing right now. But all of those things led to other things, like what's behind me right now. Brick by brick, it all adds up. Rome wasn't built overnight. Got it. We've all heard that. Rome also didn't fall apart overnight. It was a brick by brick decay too. And I'm stealing that from Jocko because Jocko is the leader of the Mustang Nation. Okay. If you know what I just did. But seriously though, so these things have led to other things. These little moments have led to bigger moments that have led me to where I am with you right now. And I know not everybody feels me on this. Not everybody likes this show. Some people don't care about what I do. That's okay. I'm not doing it for you. Everybody's different. But the people who do get it, the people who do understand it, the people who do see what I'm trying to do, which is to try to help people be their best selves, but also most importantly, not make a permanent decision over temporary circumstances. Don't find yourself to where all you do is you fucking drink. And then when you're sad, you drink. And then you may make a decision impulsively in that state to where you make a permanent decision like take your own life or hurt somebody else. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to prevent, man. And I'm trying to just open people's minds and open people's eyes. Somebody might take that test of 16 personalities and go, oh, shit, look at that. Look who I'm kind of like. Or look what professions I'm drawn to, because I'm still trying to figure out what I want to be when I grow up. I think most of us are, if we're being honest, right? But why not try to get into something that you could thrive in, that you really enjoy doing? It's obviously going to have its bullshit. Man, if you only knew the amount of hate I get when I post this show half the time, or the amount of hate I get on, some of the comments on Instagram and different stuff, man, I'm telling you right now, dude, I've had to, I don't read comments no more, put it like that. You want to tell me something nice, DM me or something, because I try to not read comments. It's not good for my mental health. And just, we can all say we don't care what people think of us, okay, but stuff hurts your feelings, and I'm sensitive, okay? So I'm just being honest on that, okay? But like, why be mean, man? Why, if you don't like something, okay, that's fine. You ain't got to tell it. Nobody asks for your opinion. And that's one thing this is not. This show I do is not, this isn't something I do like, where it's like in my personal or professional life where it's like, I want your feedback. I don't. I just want to hope it helps. That's it. Like, I don't need you to tell me and critique me and stuff. I'm not letting perfect be the enemy of good enough. I'm just trying to build it where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? And over time, we get better at things. And that was where that 16personalities.com, taking that test, seeing who I am, seeing how I'm wired, maybe a little bit differently than others, right? And there's tons of other stuff. There's the Enneagram. That's really cool. Type 2 empath, and there's all these other ones too that are out there that just get you to understand yourself a little bit better, right? I mean, that's what therapy is. That's what having a coach or a mentor is to better understand yourself. So there's just tools out there to not overlook, right? And one thing I've said many times on here too is this, MGC times 2. MGC, number 1, make good choices. They all add up, just like these bricks behind me. By the way, I'm just going to tell y'all, it's a fake brick wall. I'm just saying. But but it looks good. It looks good though, right? Yeah, about $10 on Amazon. You like that right there? I'm going to post the link for it. I'm going to upload this one to YouTube so people can see what I'm talking about if you want to look at it. But, hey, on some real stuff, man, striving to be a better version of ourselves, trying to get the most we can out of this life. Don't waste time. Don't waste time. It's so precious. It's so valuable, right? And then, just going down the line on my tattoos right here, thinking about Jim Carrey. I love Jim Carrey. The effect you have on others is the most valuable currency there is, So what kind of effect are we having on people, man? I'm trying to have a good effect with this. I'm not trying to be no president. I don't make no money off of this. I'm just trying to let people know, man, it's okay not to be okay. And I admit that I don't always know, right? I don't always know myself. Hell. Yeah, I definitely don't sometimes, man. Still trying to figure it all out, but that's okay. That's okay. I know I'm not alone in that. I want people to know they're not alone. I want to try to connect people to communities that they can be with. But MGC, man, make good choices. And the other part of MGC is, if you're feeling down, I promise you, these things probably won't make anything worse. Move your ass. Go on a walk. Go do something. Move. The G is gratitude. Try to find something to be grateful for. It's not that hard. It really isn't. Just being able to think of something grateful or try to think of it is something to be grateful for because you have the ability to think cognitively. There's people I know very close to me who have been received, rounds, bullets, whatever you want to say, to the head, and they couldn't cognitively think before they passed away. They couldn't, you know. So there's something to be thankful for, just at least that, right? But then C is connection. And I bring that up because I want to show you all a book that I think is really amazing. My little girl drew this. This is Spirit of Kintsugi right here. So Kintsugi is, I don't want to mess it up, right? And I'm going to give credit to the author of this. But Kintsugi is an art form in Japan. And it's something to where they repair broken things, like broken pottery and stuff, by sealing the cracks with lacquer and carefully dusting it with gold powder. And it's a remarkable art, it says. The Japanese believe the golden cracks make the pieces even more precious and valuable, right? So in this book by Candace Kumai, right here, Kintsugi Wellness, right? Kintsugi. To embrace the cracks in us and that we have to do the work, right? But you see this right here, you don't know if this, my daughter drew this and made this, but you don't know if this warrior that I'm showing right now, for those who can't see, is a silhouette of a warrior, somebody holding a weapon, got a pack on. But when you see it, you see the gold cracks in it, like Kintsugi. But what you don't see, you can't tell if this is you can't tell the person's gender, what they identify as. You can't tell anything phenotypically or their race or their ethnicity or where they're from, or you can't even tell how tall they are. All you see is a warrior with a pack and a weapon aimed out there fighting, but is a little broken. And I have said it before on here many a times I've quoted it. A man that inspires me so much is the great General Neller, but it's embracing those cracks, right? And I say that because General Neller, he had released this letter back in 2018, I think it was. We had a really big spike in the United States Marine Corps of death by suicide. And one thing he said in here, and I've said this before, but look, I want to share it again because I think there's power in, as a really smart person I know, Dr. Sandy, I love you, says you got to hear something 5 to 7 times, plus or minus 2, for it to stick. So maybe this is your 30th time of hearing me say this on the show, but we're all broken in our own way, and we all need help at times. It's critical we understand and respect that. Pain, guilt, trauma, disappointment, and life stressors do not go away. We never get over it. Instead, we must learn to live with it, to cope with it, to not be disabled by it, and to help each other through it. Pain shared is pain divided. Pain shared is pain divided. Pain shared is pain divided. So that's where I said, y'all, about the social, about the connect, because we need each other. Humans need humans. We need each other, man. And even in this book on page 33, it's a great book to Miss Kumai. I hope I'm not messing up your name. But she says, socialize in real life. Connection is what keeps us together. Socializing with others helps to grow your own self-love and self-care. And I just don't mean the group text on your phone, but being part of a social circle and finding time to invest in that circle and community helps improve your quality of life and boost longevity. That's deep, man. That's deep. That's something right there. But it's that kintsugi, and that we're all broken in a little bit. Like the man said, this is a 4-star general, right? Great man, right? He said, we're all broken, and we all need help at times. In our own ways, we're all broken, you know what I mean? And you don't know what other people have went through because everyone's fighting a battle you know nothing about, ladies and gentlemen. You know nothing about. And what's trauma to me may not be trauma to you. Shout out to my man, Andrew Coville, man. Marine veteran, dog, wrote the book, summer 2009, right? I'll put that in the show notes too, summer 2009. I got to take a note of how many notes I'm going to put in here. But he says in that book, he said, if it's a big deal to you, then it's a big deal, and that's all that matters, right? I mean, there's people that are being held back so much by things of their past, man. And I don't know whether it's, like Bobby Oliver said, tell it over and over again till it no longer owns you, or is it we share it with someone else, or is it that we try to understand ourselves so we can understand it better and how to best survive, how to best thrive? Is it counseling? Is it therapy? Is it exercise? Is it moving? Is it gratitude? Maybe it's all of these things, like all of the time, as best we can. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's all of these things. And I don't think there's one answer, one size fits all solution. But I think we need to be open-minded and willing to learn what we don't know, willing to help people that we may not know, and put ourselves out there to try to learn more, right? And do the best we can. And that might sound corny to some, but man, Look, sitting stagnant and bitter, stagnation leads to degradation. Where you at, Haas? I appreciate you saying that, brother. Stagnation leads to degradation. So don't go stagnant, y'all. But this right here, man, you can look this book up, Kintsugi Wellness by Candace Kumai. I mean, it's the Japanese art of nourishing mind, body, and spirit. There's just so much in here. I could read it. I got it all highlighted. Whenever I go through a book, it looks like a child went through it. I mean, it's bad. There's tabs and just markers all over it and stuff because it's so powerful, right? So powerful. But I want y'all to understand this. If nothing else, it's okay not to be okay. Okay? And a lot of us are fronting and acting like we're okay. Somebody says, how you doing? You say, fine, right? Look, it's okay not to be okay. Look, I'll be honest with y'all. Lately, I haven't been okay. But I'm in a space and a place to where I was willing to share that with people. And I said, I need to be away. I'm not okay, right? I could see myself the way I was slipping. And I was being somebody I didn't want to be. Speaking of which, my man Mark and Mr. Brad Bonar, last few episodes I've done, when I asked them, what would you say to somebody who's contemplating death by suicide, both of them said, wait. It'll pass. Wait. Just wait. Don't compare yourself to others. Comparison is the thief of joy. It's also the thief of healing, okay? Because you're comparing your trauma to somebody else's trauma and so on and so on, okay? I want to tell y'all all, man, it's okay not to be okay. But as General Robert Neller said this, man. He said, it is not okay, however, to ignore your mental health to the point where you are not able to make sound decisions or you end up taking an irreversible action that leaves behind teammates, family, and those who care about and depend on you. It may sound harsh, but it is true. There is always a solution. Marines find solutions. We all find solutions. Marines do not give up. Y'all shouldn't give up either. Not on ourselves, not on our teammates, not on the mission. Listen to this, y'all. Don't let yourself or your fellow Marines, for us, our fellow humans in this sense, get to the point where giving up or making an irreversible decision seems like the only option. Your Marines need you. Your family needs you. You matter. You matter. And you just don't know, ladies and gentlemen, we just don't know who or what is coming down the road. I shared a little video on my Instagram yesterday. My little girl, she's 3 years old. She was over there freestyling. It didn't rhyme for anything, but she was like, I got a wake up rap from Dunkin' Donuts. And her big sister was home. Like, my point, it made hilarious, dude. I'm probably doing a bad reenactment, but she is hilarious. And she is just a light in my life, man. But I would have never known her had I had done things that I wanted to do before that I felt like were good decisions. And at other points in my life, I wouldn't have any of the kids. I wouldn't know any of y'all that know me, that listen to this show. I wouldn't be in any position that I'm in now to be able to try to help things or help others. And that's not saying I'm fucking great or fucking special. No, I'm just saying you don't know what's going on in the big grand scheme of this whole universe thing. So let's not try to play God or, dictator of the universe or any of that and take matters into our own hands. And like he said, allow ourselves to feel like making an irreversible decision is a good decision. Please do not make a permanent decision over temporary circumstances. I'm asking y'all, please. I really feel in my heart, man, that death by suicide is one preventable way of death. A lot of other things are, I think homicide is too, but suicide definitely is, man. We have a choice. And I just pray and I hope that you and yours and those around you make good choices, right? We'll never be perfect on this subject. I'm going to quote the great Spot on this. Great man, fucking awesome man, dude. Talk about service and unselfishness and just being a good leader. Spot has said, we'll never be perfect on this, but we can damn sure be better, And some of y'all have heard me say that before, but I got to stay on message, man. I got to stay on message. And we got to continue to keep trying to grow, keep trying to grow ourselves and others. And I know today, I may have shared one tangible tool with the 16 personalities, and then a lot of the other stuff was just philosophical things. I'll put some resources in the show notes for y'all. But I just want to see people thrive. Not only live, not only stop people from dying, but, let's start living our best lives. Like, we're here anyway. We might as well. You know what I'm saying? And I know that there's so much more that meets the eye, and I don't know your struggle, and you don't know mine, and all that kind of stuff. But I think together we can help each other through things, and we can be better than we are. And I do believe we can make this world a better place. I really do. But like Mother Teresa said, she said, what can you do to promote world peace? She said, go home and love your family, you know. So what can we do, y'all, to make all these things better? Go love our people. You know, there's help needed around you somewhere in some shape, some form. I'm not saying to enable people, right? I'm not saying that. But there's things that we could do within our neighborhoods, within our communities, that can grow social circles for ourselves, but also give us a purpose, give us a cause. Back full circle again. I'm going to quote the great Dr. Frankl, rest in peace, who also said, by the way, and I've had to eat this one lately. What is to give light must endure burning. What is to give light must endure burning. What is to give light must endure burning. You heard that? Everybody talk about being a light in this world. And I try to be that, man. I mean, even Dr. King's quote about hate can't drive out hate, only love can drive out hate. Darkness can't drive out darkness, only light can do that, right? Like, what is to give light must endure burning. Dr. Viktor Frankl said that. And you want to talk about some burning. You want to talk about some pain. You want to talk about some strife. Man, look that man up. And I'm not saying compare, because comparison is the thief of joy, and it's also the thief of healing. But we can learn to appreciate somebody else's experience, right? Not downplay our own, but just appreciate somebody else's experience, and maybe that helps us be a little bit more grateful. I don't know. Maybe I sound like a hypocrite with saying that whole sentence right there, but there's something powerful about reflecting on the struggles of people who have went before us and have made it on the other side. There's something there. And I'm telling you, a man's search for meaning, that is a tangible tool right there. A man's search for meaning. Candace Kumai, the Kintsugi Wellness book. That's a tangible tool. I suggest you check that out. But I'm going to go ahead and end it on that same quote, man. For success, like happiness, cannot be pursued. It must ensue, and it only does so as the unintended side effect of one's personal dedication to a cause greater than oneself, or as the byproduct of one's surrender to a person other than oneself. Happiness must happen. And the same holds true for success. You have to let it happen by not caring about it. Rest in peace, Dr. Viktor Frankl. So, service, y'all. Go external. Please go external. Please try to help somebody else out. And I'm going to close on one more, actually. I say the service because we need a national call to service. You know, we're hurting right now. We're getting young people to serve, whether it's the military or serving the Peace Corps or serve something other than themselves. So please don't overlook that as a fulfilling life. And man, a life that you can definitely live and love and lead others, but also at the same time you can learn yourself. And I'll tell you right now, man, the things that I've been able to be educated on, not just formal education, but the knowledge of life, I would have never had without being in the Marine Corps for all the years I am. So I do want to share this with y'all, and this is from Chester Bennington, right? And this is why I always say go external, and I've shared this a few times. I've shared it a few times in recent days on social media, but I've never heard somebody describe my own darkness better than this. And this is what Chester Bennington said. If you know who he is, he was one of the frontmen for lead singer Linkin Park. He said, I know that for me, when I'm inside myself, when I'm in my own head, this place right here, the skull right here between my ears, it's a bad neighborhood. I should not be in there alone. I can't be in there by myself. I feel the exact same way. He said, it's insane, it's crazy in there. It's a bad place for me to be by myself. And so when he's like that, his whole life gets thrown off. He's like, I'm in there. I don't say nice things to myself. Like there's another Chester in there that wants to take me down. He said, so I find that it could be substances or behavior or whether it's depressive stuff or whatever it is. Like if I'm not actively doing and getting out of myself, you hear that? If I'm not actively getting out of myself and being with other people, like being a dad, being a husband, being a bandmate, like being a friend, helping someone out. Like if I'm out of myself, I'm great. He said, I'm great. He said, but if I'm inside all the time, I'm horrible. I'm a mess. And so for me, it's like, that was kind of where I don't like my mind right now. I stack up problems that are so unnecessary, and that's where that kind of, came from me. And he said, it's the moment you realize I drive myself nuts, like actually thinking that like all these problems, all these are real problems, like all this stuff that's going on here is actually, I'm just doing it to myself. He said, regardless of whatever the thing is. And he said, so there's like a conscious awareness. And he said he stepped back and look at something like you're actually elevating yourself consciously, like you're getting enlightened. He said that was a moment of enlightenment where you go and he can see that, you know, I could do something about this. So he don't like something, he wants to change it. I can do something about this. By doing it, I can move forward and get unstuck. And it's like I live with life on life's terms. Like I can experience the whole spectrum of humanity and not want to get out of it, whether it's happiness, sadness, or whatever. Rest in peace to Chester, because he passed away some years ago. And that what I just read off was an excerpt from his last interview. And I'll share this in the show notes because rest in peace to him. God bless his family, his people. He definitely made a big impact on humans. But he died by suicide. And that's not to judge him or anything like that. But he said it right there, like, you know, when he went internal, he said, I know that for me, when I'm inside my own head, it's not a good place to be. And I hadn't heard this until recently. And it just, man, I never had somebody describe it better for me, that I'm not good when I stay inside my own head. Like I said, you got to stop, you got to pause, you got to reflect. But there's a thin line between that and dwelling. Okay. So I know this episode ran over a little bit, but I wanted to share that with you all because I literally took the time to transcribe it because it was so powerful to me. And I didn't want to trust AI to get it right with the words. So I listened to it line by line and I typed it out. And he said it, man. I say it for myself, too. This is a bad place for me to be by myself. Now, please understand, too, this is not Cam having to cry for help or anything like that. I'm getting help. And I appreciate those who give me grace in the process of stuff. That doesn't give me a card to be an asshole. Okay, like that South Park episode where everybody just walk around acting like assholes and saying they got anxiety. I'm not trying to do that. It's hilarious, though. We got to laugh at stuff. It's hilarious. But I am saying that resonates with me. And I think... well, I know there's more people like me than not. So what he said there was when he's with other people, when he's out there being a dad, when he's being a husband, when he's being a bandmate, when he's being a friend, when he's outside of himself, he's great. Some of us are so great, you know? And then we can do therapy, we can get medication, we can do other things. We can do the 16 personalities. We can read the books. We can do all these things, self-work, to try to deal with ourselves at the same time. But in the meantime, be careful about going internal. Not all of us need time off. Not all of us need time to just sit there and dwell and ferment and to be bitter. Because I've done it. And I said, woe is me. And I said, man, I feel sorry for myself. I get poopy pants mentality. I start blaming. And man, I usually end up wanting to hurt myself. So I share that not as a cry for help, but maybe as a cry for empathy for others and for ourselves to realize, you know, sometimes when you ask for help, you're helping somebody else out because their ability to help you now. Think about that for a second. You know what I mean? Like how much, nobody ever really does something nice for somebody and then feels bad for it. Unless they are enabled at some point, and like you're messing with somebody who just is, you know, drugs or just bad decisions and you're enabling them to do that kind of stuff. That's not help. You're actually hurting that person, right? But there's other times when somebody asks you for your help, for your hand, and you just feel good helping them, right? Not like you're like this like great saint or anything like that, but there's some power in that. And it goes back to what I said earlier when I opened the show up and I've read it off twice. For success like happiness cannot be pursued, it must ensue. So I share that with y'all as just one more way to get out of ourselves, to, you know, zombies, right? Lead singer of Cranberries. How does she pass? You know, very sad, very terrible, man. Great lady, really cool lady. Mom, she rest in peace to her, man. Just a really cool lady, man. But you know, in your head, zombie. And I know there's a whole nother meaning to that song. I know the history, but the line right there about it's in your head. And that's what Chester was saying right there, because sometimes you got to kind of pull back for a second, assess cognitively what's in my control, what's not in my control. And then as Epictetus said a long time ago, and I try to keep it everywhere in my view, man, what ought one to say as each hardship comes? I was practicing for this. I was training for this. So hopefully in the meantime, in between time, we're getting stronger, because it's not an if, my friends, of when things are going to come up. It's a win. It's not an if, it's a win. When are things going to come our way that's going to challenge us? When are things going to test our mettle? you know, and then who are we going to be in those moments, right? I told y'all my man said, wait. My brother Mark, he told me, he said, you can also think about it as, who am I tomorrow? You know, think about that. Wait, who am I tomorrow? Who do we want to be in this world, man? Because what you leave behind is not that which is engraved in stone monuments, but it's woven into the lives of others. And that's from Pericles. But it's the same as what Jim Carrey said, the effect you have on others. It's the most valuable currency there is. So there's somebody around you right now. There's something around you that you could positively impact. And by doing that, that will positively impact you. Okay? So let's pay homage. Let's learn from people of our past. Let's give honor to them. If Chester can hear me, if the lead singer from Cranberries can hear me, if some of these other people I've named off and some of these people that I don't have anymore in my life can hear me, I just say I miss you and I love you. And I appreciate you for what you brought to this planet while you were here. But our time is not up, ladies and gentlemen. It's not. So if you love life, don't waste time, for time is what life is made up of. If I can help you, I will try to as best I can. You can hit me up. Y'all know how to reach out to me. But please make good choices. Wait. If you're thinking about making that permanent decision, wait and ask yourself, who am I tomorrow? Who am I tomorrow, right? There's more life to live, and you never know who or what is coming down the road. I know today was a big word vomit, but I guess what I'm really trying to say is go external. Don't go internal. It's dark in there. Go out there, be a light. Yep, and what is to give light must endure burning. It is. What is to give light must endure burning. But don't let yourself or those you care about, in the words of General Neller, get to the point where making an irreversible decision seems like a good option or the only option. Let's not do that. Let's be better. And I'm going to go ahead and close on some Monchichi Rex, all right? Y'all ready for it? Y'all ready? Y'all ready? I know y'all ready. Some of y'all like, damn, dude, I was trying to get out the car a minute ago. Shut up. So this has been another episode of the Real Resilience Talk podcast. This is episode 48, just a solo with Cam, doing like I can, running my fat mouth. I appreciate y'all for listening, man. If this is helping you or you think it could help somebody else, man, hey, please share it. I don't make no money off of this or anything like that. Just trying to leave something not engraved in stone monuments, but what's woven into the lives of others, and hoping to be a part of the solution instead of part of the problem, because I've been that many a days, and I hope you hold the same true for you. Much love to all of you. Love is my religion, like Ziggy Marley said. And hope y'all make good choices, be there for each other. And as always, this podcast, guess who is sponsored by? Nobody, baby. Much love to y'all. This too shall pass.